Hello, welcome to Miemie's Keepsakes. I'm Arnell. I'm so happy to be here again today. I want to share with you these little freebies that's available when you order fabric online from Black Rabbit Fabrics, or if you order some of my slow stitch kits online. The slow stitch kits will be in my Etsy shop as well as in my online shop. On Etsy, the price will be slightly higher, a couple of dollars, because of the Etsy fees. So if you want to save that couple of dollars, order it from my online shop on just my website, Miemie's Keepsakes. I'll have all the information in the description box for the video. So just go see. And then if you want to buy some fabrics from Yvonne, she has wonderful fabric. She has currently, I don't even have all of them here. Currently she has the Kathy Holden fabrics. If you are living in Canada, it's very hard to find them in Canada. This is just the pink and some of the blue fabrics. It's not even all of the kit. It is, if you are doing slow stitching, you need this fabric. Honestly, it is available at the moment. I don't know how much she'll have, but she'll have the Kathy Holden line that's coming out in, I think, October. She'll have that on her shop too. She has lots of Tim Holtz fabrics, and I want to show you this one before we continue. She has some of this one too. So this is a lot like the Tim Holtz new line if you watched that video. So this is on her shop too. This is Kathy Holden, but if you want to order that Tim Holtz new line, I can't remember the name now, I should have, then it's similar to this. Then you can sign up as well with Yvonne or send her an email. That starts, I think, in October as well. Anyway, so what I've done with those, I have just cut up a lot of this fabric with all the, and the whole line is like that. So if you're doing slow stitching, this is the ultimate kind of fabric. And I would, like even that Tim Holtz one, I think that entire line will be amazing for slow stitching once you start fussy cutting your fabric up. Anyway, I thought I'll share that with you if you want, if you're interested in those fabrics. If you live in the US, it would be easy to find. But if you're in Canada, it was very difficult to find the Kathy Holden fabrics, honestly. It was almost impossible. Okay, I'm gonna get my stuff together and then we'll do the open up the kits and do some of this together. I'm gonna start with the snippet roll kit today. What you will need to make this snippet roll is the kit. If you receive this in the mail for free, or if you don't have this kit, then you simply have to go and get the small little pieces of scraps. I have a bucket like this next to my desk, and I have all kinds of little teeny tiny pieces in here that you can cut up and make a snippet roll with. So you don't need this kit to make a snippet roll, a fabric snippet roll, or even a paper snippet roll, but this is what we're talking about today. So you'll need the kit. You'll need some embroidery threads. I just picked a couple of colors that will go with my kit. You'll need some sewing thread, some pins, and scissors. So if you don't, and then anything else you want to add extra, maybe you have laces that you want to add, or little fabric cutouts that you want to add. What else? Oh, there's so many things you can add to a snippet roll. You can play around with that to your heart's content. We're gonna do a very basic roll. This is just to kind of start, and you can add stuff as we go. Anyway, so let's start. And of course you'll need needles. I don't think I mentioned needles. I have needles. I've threaded them already and put knots in them just so we're not stuck on doing that. So let's open this kit and I'll show you what's inside. Okay. And I'll just mention quickly, these kits are more or less the same. They're not all exactly the same. The fabrics obviously aren't the same at all, but what you'll find inside are more or less the same. So you'll find some buttons in there, a little crochet flower, a fabric cutout. This one is from Kathy Holden as well. I'm not sure if Yvonne still has this one, but the new line has some tickets in there as well. Then for the snippet roll, you'll find a base piece that you're going to put everything on. Then you'll find a bigger piece of fabric, a couple of strips, and these will all be different for every pack because we just took scrap fabrics. A couple of strips and then a couple of squares, and we're gonna play with that. So for your snippet roll, the bigger piece you'll probably cut out. I think I'm gonna leave this one for on top just because it has pretty flowers on there, and this one has some texture in there. So let's start and make a base for the snippet roll. So we're starting with the white piece that you might not see that well on the screen, and usually I prefer my fabrics torn, but because it was such a big amount, it was just impossible. Our hands would not have survived tearing all of these fabrics for the kids, so they are cut. If you like a more rugged edge, you can always go in and just take some of the threads out, or you can even use your scissors and just rough it up a little bit. Then already it looks a little bit more just like you've torn it. You'll just have to get rid of all the threads, or keep the threads and use them on your snippet roll as well. So I'm just gonna start whichever way and just pin it down. And let's do some of the darker color in here. And I have no rhyme or reason whatsoever. They're just going on there whichever way, and maybe we'll just do this one, and I think I need it a little shorter. Maybe this one I'll see if I can get some of those threads out and have it more like a torn look. Just put it like that. Maybe we'll go in again with this color. And you can do bigger pieces, smaller pieces. We're going to add a lot of things on top. Let's do this one here, and maybe just overlap the fabrics a little bit so you won't see that white edge when you're done. What else do I have here? We'll do the polka dots and cut it in two. That one's gonna tear easy. And I'm thinking maybe we'll add some of this in the background there, just because it's starting to look very dark on that edge there. And as you can see, I'm not even very concerned about cutting straight. My cutting is not, it's never straight, let me just tell you that. And then maybe do the polka dot here just so it doesn't feel as dark. And it's just a matter of playing with your fabrics. Let's add that little square in there, and maybe we'll add this on here again just to repeat. I have finished covering the entire base piece of fabric. So the next step is a matter of what you like to do. I like to add a little bit of a basting stitch or an invisible stitch onto mine, because then it's just easier to work without the pins. Or if you have those smaller shorter pins, then maybe you do not need to do this, but I am going to add a basting stitch, and that's why I'm using just regular thread. I've added a knot in my thread, and I am just going to start at one point, and then from the bottom up, and then just pretty much next to where I came out with my thread, I am going to go in, and then at the back you kind of go way farther out. Maybe I should bring the camera down a little bit and then see if that you could see better. Okay, so I go in, and if you know the invisible stitch, you do not have to pay attention to this. So pretty close to where my thread came out, I just put it down again, and then just quite some bit farther. So it's like a basting stitch, but this one I can just leave in. I do not have to worry about it taking it out afterwards. And a lot of people doing slow stitching say they do just leave the basting stitch in because it's part of that handmade look. That is all about what you like and how you like to make these. And so with this, I try to just catch. I'm not going to baste everything on, just try to catch it here and there so I can get rid of my pins. And I'll do a row on the outside, a row in the middle, and a row on the other, so two on the sides of the fabric and one row in the middle. And that's just, yeah, we're getting started with a little snippet roll. And like I say, as you can see, I'm not doing them too close together. My idea here is just to get rid of the pins, and then I can start doing some stitches on here. I'm just trying to catch the off fabric. When we do some stitching, we'll catch more of the fabric. I have a knot there. There, got rid of that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I will continue with my invisible stitch and come back, so you're not looking at this for the next probably 20 minutes just to finish this. And slow stitching, I mean, you might say, oh my goodness, just the basting takes 20 minutes, but I find it very relaxing, and that's why it's called slow stitching. It's slow, it's a slow process that you can go through and just relax. It's kind of almost like a way of meditating, but yeah, that's my idea of it. But I'm gonna finish this and come back, and then we'll go from there. I have finished all the invisible stitch. Now I can remove my pins and start the fun part of this project, which would be, well, for me it would be to add some stitching in the back to add some texture to my fabric. And all I'm going to do, so you can see I still have some fabrics left that I can either add on top, you know, and maybe if I want to add something there because I don't want it all dark, then I can add some of these fabrics on top and make it more layered. But I think what I'm gonna do for me, I'm going to add some stitches in the back and then add stuff on top. So let's just start with maybe, shall we add more color in here, or just go very neutral so you can see the stitches on top. Let's do that. Let's just make it easy. All I'm gonna do is add some running stitch, and I do have a very long piece of thread here. Probably shouldn't make it that long. So my running stitch, you can go this way. For a snippet roll I prefer to run this way, because then if I do want to cut pieces of my snippet roll off for a slow stitch project, I can cut it off, just put a little bit of fabric glue or no fray where the thread ends, and it won't all be, you know, I won't lose some stitches, if that makes any, I hope that makes sense. I'll show you once we're done. But yeah, I'm gonna go this way and just a bit of running stitch here. And I like to add stitches just very random into my snippet roll, not really concerned about, you know, planning it out, just going in and just do it random, because I am going to add stuff on top. Okay, so that's a running stitch at the end. Let's do on this piece of blue here that's very solid, let's do some daisy stitches, and I'm just going to start from the back and then loop it almost like a chain stitch and then just catch it there. If you want to see better instructions on the daisy stitch, just on YouTube, just in the search bar, just put in daisy stitches and you will find lots of videos that will show you how to make these stitches. Today I'm just concentrating on making this snippet roll, and you don't have to do a lot of stitches. If you feel intimidated or you're just a beginner and you can just do, you don't feel like you can do any of these stitches yet, just continue doing a running stitch all through. It gives a beautiful texture. It just adds to your background. You definitely do not have to do any fancy stitches on here. You can even, if you do not want to do any embroidery stitches, you can put this on, use your sewing machine and just sew all of these pieces together once you are happy with the layout of all the little pieces you have. I just thought, let's do little pieces that we can maybe cut off later and add to other slow stitch projects. Or if you're a junk journaler, these are perfect for little belly bands in your journals or pockets. Little interesting fabric pockets. Okay, let's add one more here. On there, let's do a couple of seed stitches. And I was thinking to do some seed stitches on this dark color here and just kind of a random way. And seed stitches is just a running stitch again, but you kind of just do it randomly. So one stitch this way, the other way, one that way, and it gives you, I love seed stitches, this amazing look. It's sometimes if you make a lot of small ones, it almost looks like it's part of the fabric design. I use a lot of seed stitches in my, you can even do it in, like, draw a heart on your fabric and fill the heart with your seed stitches. I'm filling this with seed stitches. And again, just make sure that your tension doesn't pull your fabric like I did there. You don't want that. I have finished all this stitching off camera. So we've done some of them together. Like at the beginning, we started at this point, we did the daisy, and then I finished the seed stitches, did more running stitch, another little daisy, more seed stitches and then just running stitch again. So now to finish, I mean, you can stop and this could be enough for you if you don't want anything more on there, but if you do want more things on there, there's definitely some options. I am going to maybe sew this ticket on maybe here, because if I do, I'm gonna think about if I do want to cut my snippet roll up, maybe I'll cut it there, because then I have the daisy as a focal point. So I'm thinking maybe add the ticket here, just because I do not have any stitching here. If I cut it there, the stitching, that would be the focal point. Maybe add that one there, and I can also add some buttons on here, and that can be the focal point. And even if I leave it just like that, there's a lot of nice pieces on there that can make focal points. So that is my plan for this. You can always say, for instance, you want to add more stuff on here. If I take the cutouts from the Kathy Holden, I could possibly add something like this on there, or these are all very big. Maybe even this on there. You know, add different things. If you have those little daisies, there's another small thing that could go on there. Or maybe add more laces. Let me see, what do I have in here for laces? Could add that. Maybe there's some rickrack you can add. So you can go ahead, and there's some ribbon. The idea of the kit is just to give you a basic, you know, a base to start off with. Let's say we just cut this lace very roughly and add that on there, and then the ticket, and maybe the rickrack there. I think that looks cute there. The ribbon, you know, you can go ahead. I am going to stick with just the pieces in the kit, and then just do that. So let's just pin this ticket on, and again I am going to just use regular thread, nothing, just the same sewing thread going in from behind. And what I like to do with these is to sew them on with a blanket stitch. It just makes for a nice finished off look, and then also just keeps it, even though I did iron on the interfacing, it also just helps to it from fraying, and just adjust it, you know, adhere it to the fabric securely. I'm just gonna continue doing blanket stitch. I think for the buttons I want to sew them on with a colored thread, and I think the pink would stand out most. I'm just gonna thread my needle and then just sew them on here. Let's start with the middle button. Say these snippet rolls, you can do so many things with them. You can, once you're done, just roll them on a wooden spool or hang them on clips on your wall or your pin board to display them. But then they can, you know, they can form part of the decoration in your craft room as well as just look pretty until you're ready to use them. They are very relaxing to do. I know Catherine from K3N, she makes a lot of them and she calls them her meditation rolls or scrolls, because you can just sit and just do the sewing and just enjoy sitting and sewing home. So sorry, there's a truck going by honking and making a lot of noise. That is distracting, as well as I'm not sure you guys can hear that. So the last thing we're going to sew on is the little crochet doily, and I just sew that on with an overcast stitch. Fast, simple, easy. So if you do not like the way your back looks, you can always, if you're not planning on cutting this up, you can always add another strip on there to make the back look pretty. So what are we going to do with these snippet rolls? Let me just make some room here. They can be cut out and added to other projects. So I'm working on this one, and say for instance I just want to add a little piece on here. This is not done yet, so but say for instance I just want to cut this up and add a little piece of this. Let's cut this off. And say we just want to add it in there. I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm being off screen because this is a big piece of fabric. But maybe I could add this little piece of snippet roll here, or even this way, probably this way, or maybe up here. You know, you can play around with it. It just gives you idea. Or if you want to keep the entire piece of snippet roll and add the entire piece to your work, that is another option. But you have, this is already done. It's finished, and you can just add it to a project to make it look like you've done a lot of work. Like, say for instance, it might not be the right color. Say for instance you are making fabric tags or paper tags for your journals. If you're working on a junk journal, if you add this on there with maybe some laces or other things, I'm just kind of grabbing things here at random that I have. Let's use that piece of lace that we had earlier on. It's not the correct colors, but you get the idea. You can kind of just sew that on there, and that is a tag for a journal or a pocket or a tuck spot, or even this entire piece you can sew onto a fabric project if you're only doing fabric, if you're not doing paper as well. Of course, this can be just a bookmark already done. I did this one for the Roxy Journal of Stitchery. It was the prompt for something to wear. This one is pretty simple. I just did running stitch throughout the whole thing in different colors, and just added some lace and buttons. And I'm not gonna wear this, but this will be a wrap around a journal for me, and I thought the journal will wear my piece. But see, it looks different every time. You can do a lot of things with the snippet rolls. Definitely a lot of fun just to sit down and just mindlessly sew. I have a roll going where I'm just adding little pieces of fabric to a base fabric, and just, if I'm sitting in front of the TV, I'm just doing the stitching on it, and whenever I need it, I'll cut a piece off and add buttons or whatever else to finish my project. But I hope you'll have fun with this freebie. Please go to Black Rabbit Fabrics or my website. I will have all this information on the description box for this video for Black Rabbit, as well as my website. If you order fabric from Black Rabbit, you will receive a freebie, either the snippet roll or the needle book. And if you order any of my slow stitch kits on my website, the same thing, you will receive either one of these freebie starter kits. That's what we called it. This is the snippet roll, and there's also one for a needle book. Thank you for watching again today, and please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And if you do have finished the snippet roll, I would love to see it. I have a group called Miemie's Keepsakes on Facebook, so you have to sign up for the group. That link is also in the description box, as well as on the snippet roll pack. You can follow me on that group, and then if you can please post some of your photos on there, or a little video of your snippet roll or needle book that you've finished. I would really love to see that. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and have a lovely day. I will see you soon. Bye.